I never knew a love like this. Gotta be something for me to write this. Queen, I ain't seen you in a minute. Wrote this letter and finally decided to send it. Signed, sealed, delivered for us to grow together. Love has no limit, let's spin it slow forever. I know your heart is weathered by what studs did to you. I ain't gon' start them cause I probably did it too. Because of you feelings I handle with care.
How do you feel about racism?
I feel when I think of racism, I just think of different types of just people being mean to other people just because of the color of their skin. And I believe it's not right. And it's something that, as much as we want to fix it, we can't.
How do you feel about racism?
Most people like to deny racism and say racism doesn't exist, but it really does. And racism, it's like a systematic thing. And these days, it's not just like going on saying racial slurs like the N-word and stuff. Like these days, it's like finding excuses as to why a black man deserves to be shot 8 times in the back, like Walter Scott. How news channels like they only like showed up like 5 seconds of like his death, and like the rest of the coverage was about how like he didn't pay his child support and stuff. Like he actually deserved what happened to him because he had a police record.
Okay, well, racism is not just, now it's not just about like, oh, so you're saying the N-word. Now it's like a systematic thing. It's always been. Now it's like a more broader way. So racism is denying people from their political, economical, and social, rights because of the color of their skin. And that is still, people don't realize it, but it's still going on right now. And you can see that everywhere you go, especially in the media. The media can manipulate you into thinking that a specific race deserves what's happening to them because of what they are or what they show them that you are.
That was really deep.
Thank you.
How do you feel about racism?
I feel it's a huge problem here in the U.S. and that it really does affect various people.
How do you feel about racism?
I think that racism is still very well and alive right now because it's coming out more this year about the justice system and how they're treating African Americans.
And I personally do not tolerate racism, and I do not associate myself around racist people. And I know that it's a problem that still resides in our society, and I believe eventually it'll go away or it'll be resolved.
How do you feel about racism?
I think racism is ridiculous. All my life, I haven't had a problem with racism at all. I love hanging out with whoever it may be, whatever color they may be. So racism is not a part of my life.
How do you feel about racism?
I really hate racism. I think it's a very big problem that is going on in the world for a very, very long time. And I think racism is when someone does not like a person because of maybe where they're from. And it's not only where they're from, it's also their religion too. It can be your religion, like how someone can say, for example, I don't like a Muslim, or they'll make jokes like, oh, you're gonna bomb the place.
How do you feel about racism?
How do I feel about racism? I despise racism. I really hate it. And it's really sad that it's still a thing and it's still like a controversial topic. But yeah, I don't like racism.
How do you feel about racism?
I believe racism has grown over the decades from blacks, now it's to white, now to minorities. It's a big topic, it's controversial, there's news all about it somehow. It has hit the law enforcement field.
And how do you feel about racism?
I think racism is a bad problem in our world and it needs to be stopped. There's no excuse for it.
Have you ever been hurt by racism or questioned about your race?
Yes. Growing up in a different environment, especially in the South, we experience racism almost every day as a child, especially in elementary where I have curly hair, I'm mixed, my hair is like a white person, but my skin and everyone calls me black, and seeing my parents it's a big, very, very big, different scenario from up here. So dealing with other kids bullying me just because I'm different or being name called, like being called Hispanic, I'm not Hispanic, so it's yeah, I've been hit by racism as a child.
Oh, yeah, we were bullied when we were little. We were called Hispanic, and yet our parents are black and white. And I guess it hurt us when we were younger because that's not what we were. But now it doesn't affect us. But racism, just like as little kids, it can still affect other people of today. So it needs to change. So.
How do you feel about racism?
I feel it's a huge problem here in the U.S. and that it really does affect various people.
What is your ethnicity or background?
I'm Hispanic. I'm from Honduras in Central America.
Have you ever been hurt by racism or questioned about your race?
I have been hurt by racism multiple times, and some of them really make you wonder, like, this is a huge issue.
Have you ever been hurt by racism or questioned about your race?
Thousands of times. I've been teased a lot. You know, back in elementary school, like African booty scratcher and all those different kinds of all those different kinds of names. And I've also witnessed people get teased not only for their skin color but also for their religion. So yeah.
What is your ethnicity or background?
Well, okay, I'm right here, black, of course, but it turns out I have German, Cherokee Indian, and Jewish and Asian in my family. So we have a mixed breed, especially on my mom's side, and then Trinidad on my dad's side, and Barbados. So it's a lot of stuff in me.
So what is your ethnicity or background?
I was born here, but my ancestry is from Ghana. Like my parents and everybody else are from Ghana, so I like to keep in touch with my roots.
I was born in Ghana. I moved here in 6th grade. I was 11. Yeah.
What is your ethnicity or background?
I'm Hispanic. I'm from Honduras in Central America.
What is your ethnicity or background?
I'm African American, but my grandfather is German, white.
I'm African American.
I'm white.
What is your ethnicity or background?
I'm white.
What is your ethnicity or background?
I was originally born here in U.S., but my parents are from Ghana, which is in West Africa.
What is your ethnicity or background?
Well, I was born and raised in Ethiopia, and I came to America when I was 12 years old.
What is your ethnicity and background?
I'm Peruvian. Both of my parents are Peruvian, and I came to the United States when I was 7.
What is your ethnicity and background?
I'm mixed with white and African American.
Do you think racism is a learned behavior?
Oh yes, no baby's born saying, "Oh, I hate that black person, I hate that Hispanic person." It's taught. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's taught. And as you said, nobody's born racist.
Like, it comes to racism is a learned behavior. However a kid grows up, or whatever that kid may be taught, is how they're going to act. So I think that now that it's not that big of a problem, or as much as it was in the past, that parents are going to raise their kids differently and teach them different.
Do you think that racism is a learned behavior?
Most definitely. Racism is definitely a learned behavior. Children are brought up being racist by their parents, and yeah.
I agree.
Okay, well, thank you for your feedback and your opinion.
Okay, you're welcome. I'm back, you guys.
Do you think racism is a learned behavior?
Yeah, no one is born hating a certain race or ethnicity or where someone's from. It's learned by their surroundings and who they talk to and how they've grown up.
A relation between racism and poverty?
I think there's not a too close relationship, but I think it's in between because uh, there's a lot of stereotypes where like you can say Caucasians have a higher power than all the other people who are from different countries. So I think it's in between because we're always used to hearing that Caucasians are always high and we're low, which is not true. So it could be in between.
Do you think that there's a relation between racism and poverty?
Yes. Oh yes.
Yes.
I feel that I think it's because of the thoughts of race. When you associate with a certain race, you think of a certain way of their lifestyle. When you think of white person, you don't think of them being living on the street or in a trailer park or something like that. No, you don't think of that. You think of them being in a townhouse or in a mansion or up, with celebrities and whatnot, getting makeovered. But when you think of a black person, it's like either or. They could be there. There's some of them that make it up there with the white people, and then there's like the down, just farming kind of people. And then you got the Hispanics. A lot of people think that Hispanics are in like a bunch of poverty, like they mow lawns and do all this housework. But you don't know there's some Hispanics that are the richest people in the world. It's just interesting. Same with Asians, y'all. We like to make fun of them. Like there's Asians that they're so smart that they have the best jobs. I mean, they do. Most of them do. But you have to remember, you can't think that they all do.
But that's just from working hard. And it does hit us, like in racism, with poverty, it does hit us because think about when you are trying to apply to a place and you're being asked what race you are. Why does it matter? That's the.
Do you think that there's a relation between racism and poverty?
Yeah, no, I don't think there is any relation. I mean, for instance, look at Barack Obama. He is the president of America, and he's black, but yet again, you still see and hear all these racist comments towards him and stuff like that. And I just really don't believe that poverty and racism go hand in hand.
Is there a relation between racism and poverty?
Yes, because any race can be successful and can make a good significant amount of money. It doesn't matter what skin tone you are. You could be who you want to be. You can make enough money. And the people you will least suspect are like making the most money. Let's say Oprah Winfrey. She started from Nevada, and look where she's at now. She's a future billionaire living in Cape Florida. Look at Pitbull. He's a Cuban, and he's a millionaire. Now, Bill Gates doesn't have to be the only person. Yes, I understand. Everyone knows him. Oh yeah, he's rich. He's the richest guy. But you know what? There's so many rich people, and there's with different races, and they're successful in life. So racism should not stop you in succeeding in your goals. Really, and nowadays society is like promoting that, but you know what? Ignore society.
Things simple, why can't it be anything worth having you work at annually? Granted, we known each other for some time. It don't take a whole day to recognize sunshine.